How would I describe people pleasing? Exhausting, frustrating, and seriously painful. So what do you say we try to start healing people pleasing syndrome starting today? What's up, beautiful? It's Lisa Roulette, and I'm here to help you heal, navigate your ascension journey, and create a life you love. Before we begin the video, I want to encourage you to click on the description of the video below because there's going to be some related content down there for you. Also, if you're not already a subscriber and you're a people pleaser, please do hit that subscribe because I want you to be able to access the meditation suite on this channel. It's really going to be useful for you in particular because people pleasers are very much up here and not down here in their heart center. We want to move you from that linear mind into that heart center because it's in the heart center where you're going to figure out A, who you really are, and B, you're going to find that courage and power to start asserting who you really are out in the world. So what is people-pleasing syndrome? Well, it's a trauma-based response, largely predicated on fear of being rejected in some way. And keep in mind that traumas come with big T's and little t's. A big T trauma might be the loss of a loved one, sexual assault, or physical abuse. A little T trauma might be a failure at work or an embarrassing moment on the playground when you were a young person. But either way, trauma is trauma. And it's really important to recognize no matter how big or how small, trauma acts as weight in the human energy field. It's very, very slow moving energy. And unless we consciously move it out of the human energy field, it stays lodged there and acts as density, keeping us in an awareness where we cannot heal the syndrome. But the more aware we become of how trauma sits in our awareness, the more likely we are to get in there and to move that stagnant energy. But before we talk about that, I want to address the beliefs that support the fear of rejection. As you know, if you've been following me, we all have 5 common core beliefs, and those are whether or not we feel lovable, deserving, powerful, worthy, and as we're enough as we measure ourselves against the rest of the world. And people pleasers, while they usually feel strong, they do not in true essence embody self-worthiness, deservability, powerfulness, the ability to feel as if they're enough as they measure themselves against the rest of the world, and most of them do not feel truly lovable. So I want you to be mindful of your belief system and ask yourself, what are my core beliefs? Do I feel lovable, deserving, powerful, worthy, and as if I'm enough as I measure myself against the rest of the world? Because it's going to be very important for you to heal any of those beliefs that are wounded in order to stop people-pleasing over the long term. So how do we heal people-pleasing syndrome? Well, the first thing is we need to draw boundaries. And I'm going to walk you through a boundary visualization in just a minute or two, so make sure you stick around. But boundaries are really important. And if you haven't seen my video on energetic boundaries, I'll link it in the description of the video below. Make sure you check that out. Boundaries are really important because with weak boundaries or no boundaries at all, we will be bombarded with energy that doesn't necessarily belong to us and is detrimental to us over time. And usually people pleasers who tend to also be empaths are really bombarded with other people's energy, and it really does not belong to you. So I want to make sure that you start to strengthen those boundaries and to be able to really understand the difference between what belongs to you and what does not belong to you. The second way is to start building increasing levels of self-worth. Because at the end of the day, if we can heal our sense of self and our worthiness, all of our other core beliefs heal themselves in turn. So one of the ways to start building self-worth is to learn about self-appreciation. Now, there's lots of videos on all of this on my channel, so make sure that you check in the links in the description of the video below. But when I talk about self-appreciation, it's not so much about, oh, hey, I look really great today. It's more about appreciating your assets, personal development, spiritual development, emotional resilience and intelligence, and mental development. The more you can stand firmly in your authenticity, knowing that you have valuable assets to offer the world, the less you are to people please, and the more likely you are to be expanded enough to find the appropriate co-creators for you that value you and do not need you to please them. The third thing is to learn how to assert yourself. And this is really big, but also really challenging. The first step to learn how to assert yourself is to learn how to say no, like an affirmative N freaking O. No, I'm not available. I'm sorry. I know I've been available for all this time up until this time, but currently I'm not available. The more you assert yourself and learn how to say no, the more likely your needs are to be met and the more likely someone is to please you. And the fourth way is to practice authentic self-expression. Underneath that people pleaser is a soul's expression that is dying to come through you, and you deserve to release that. Think about that for a minute. You deserve to show up as you, with all of the wonderful things about you, with all of the messy things about you. You deserve to show up as you. And more importantly, the world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for you to express yourself so that we can understand you and become in greater service to your needs and to please you more often. Keep in mind, friends, this is a two-way street, okay? All of the universe is co-creative. It is a two-way street. You have to stop giving so much and really racing outside of yourself to please others. You need to come back in, really get into that ground, show up in the world as you by using your voice, by expressing your feelings, by telling the world what you think. Let the world get to know you. And I guarantee if you do, you will be so loved. Now let's do the boundary visualization that I promised you. One thing to keep in mind is that repetition is important, because the more you can imagine this in your mind's eye, the more you're pushing out the frequencies of the thoughts associated with the images of the picture of the visualization into the human energy field. That is how we effectively draw boundaries. We use our imagination and our thoughts to actually become energy and push out away from us into our human energy field and ultimately surrounding us in order, like a protective barrier or shield. So just close your eyes. Take a few nice, calm breaths. And I want you to think about you in the safest space that you can imagine. A space where you are not only safe, but you are loved and supported. You are wanted. You are honored, and you are accepted. Just stay in this space for a moment. And now I want you to think of your support team. This does not have to be people that you know in your real world. You can think of this as angels, as guides, guardians, universal energies that are pointed directly at you. I just want you to imagine them circling you, validating your existence, honoring you for who you are in all of your authenticity and gorgeous expression. You can even imagine them clapping for you in gratitude for your presence. You think of this as your team, your people. the ones you never have to please, and the ones that you reciprocate with effortlessly. Now imagine that they're glowing. Each one of them, you can ask them to turn on like a bulb of warm, loving energy. See and sense yourself still in the middle of this tribe, family, support group, team. And understand here that nothing bad can happen to you, and that you are deeply loved, wanted, honored, and respected. And just watch as the glow of the people around you grows, magnifies, until you can't see their shape or form anymore. And all you can see is this loving, light energy surrounding you. These are your boundaries. They belong to you. They belong to you. And no one can break them unless you allow them to. No one can break these boundaries unless you allow them to. So now, in loving gratitude, thank your team, your tribe. Thank the light for being there and for being at your access anytime you need it. In fact, if you so choose, this can be a permanent boundary, never to be penetrated, violated, or broken through without your distinct permission. And so it is. So we're returning our awareness now to the video. I always like to take a breath to sort of let the whole thing integrate, but do try to practice that daily. And you can come up with your own creative visualization if that one doesn't seem to work for you. I like the light because I can feel the warmth and the love surrounding me. And as an empath and a former people pleaser, I have used this visualization many times throughout my life, and it is extremely powerful. That's a wrap for this video, my friends. Thanks for joining me today. Make sure you like, comment, and share. Hit that subscribe button and visit the links in the description of the video below. Never forget, stay in the luminosity of your beautiful light, and remember, you are loved.